Yes.
So approved. Public comment on an agenda item. If someone's in the audience would like to address the board today on an agenda item, please come forward. Mr. Riley?
My name is Jim Riley, excuse me, and I live in Norton Shores. Ladies and gentlemen, surely you all must know the exact amount, but by my rough figuring today, you will vote to spend about $1 million or more on bonuses to county union and non-union employees. Just last year, another $1 million in bonuses was authorized by this same board, bringing the total of just over $2 million in employee bonuses in this last year alone. Mr. Longmire and Mrs. Wilkins, you both have commented about programs that would help residents in your communities in the past, but couldn't be funded because the money for those programs simply wasn't available. Mr. Jagger, Mr. Snyder, Mr. Skolnick, and Mr. Engel, you're all Republicans, and you've been very public in telling us that you make sure that our precious tax dollars will be spent in the most careful and efficient manner possible. And Mr. Derazinski, you've likewise, would be if you were here, has staked out a position embracing the critical importance of making sure that every penny collected from citizens and businesses is prudently invested and not simply tossed to the loudest special interest group. And yet we see county employees being laid off. We hear of the need to build a new county jail. Auditors tell us we need to address the $100 million in unfunded pension and health care promises to county employees. Sappy and consumers' energy tax money is soon to dry up. And we live in a county that has the only school district in the entire country that has gone bankrupt. So the importance of making the tough but wise decisions with the hard-earned dollars earned by Muskegon taxpayers is something real and close to us all. My question to you all is simple. Why? Why are you considering $1 million gift to those who just received $1 million gift? How many laid-off employee jobs could be saved? How many important life-improving programs could be funded? How important is it that your pledge to retired county employees be backed up by real money, not just empty promises? If a new jail is so necessary, where will the money come from if $1 million here and $1 million there is your spending discipline? And Mr. Gertner, we depend on you to report what happens here to all the informed residents of our county. Will you ask the same questions to our county commissioners that they, as is their policy, refuse to answer publicly? My question again, why, when things are so tough on Muskegon businesses and Muskegon residents, are you even considering $1 million bonuses?
They're not going to answer you.
Thank you, Mr. Riley.
I guess there will be no response to that. Seems like $1 million spent would deserve a response.
Here we go, this camera.
Next, we have Roger Nye.
Good afternoon, Roger Nye from Norton Shores. It seems that Christmas is coming a little early to Muskegon County this year. A lump sum payment of $700 to each county employee. This commission, it would seem, is having a great old time playing Santa Claus with other people's money. The other people in this case being the voters and taxpayers of Muskegon County. County employees get a lump sum, the rest of us get a lump of coal? No, not even that. The spirit of giving comes about quite easily when it's the taxpayers' dollars you're spending. I hate to criticize such generosity, but I think the people of this county should be a little Santa skeptical when the commissioners come bearing gifts for the chosen few. County employees may not be getting rich, but they're in a pretty good place by local standards. I'm sure the people working in our local retail stores and restaurants would jump at the opportunity to work a county job with pay and benefits and relative security. Every day for county employees is a little bit like Christmas. Why then should this commission add to their already comfortable compensation? Members of this commission should consider how it looks when they come forth with this sort of bounty just before Election Day. Some of the more cynical members of the public might actually think that the commissioners are not motivated by pure generosity, that there is some quid pro quo here, some tit for tat. I am not making any such accusation myself, but must remind the members of this commission that appearances must always be considered, especially around election time when people are needed to make contributions, put up signs, canvass homes, make telephone calls. Please take notice that you see before you today members of Occupy Muskegon and the Tea Party. This is not as unusual a combination as you might believe. There is nothing specifically left or right about wanting clean government. There is nothing specifically Democrat or Republican about wanting our government to exercise responsibility when spending the money we pay as taxes. Have you taken into consideration the 10% across-the-board cuts in federal spending, which will soon become effective? How will you replace any shortfall in federal aid? How will you deal with this fiscal cliff? Let us remind you, we are in the middle of a paradigm shift. That's a fancy way of saying that the times they are changing. And it's a whole new ballgame. We're watching you, we're recording you, and we're taking names. We will note and remember the names of all who vote for this incredible proposal. And we will spread the word to everyone we know. We're not going to forgive or forget this sort of financial recklessness. Please vote no on this agenda item. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you, Mr. Nye.
I appreciate it.
Matt Cregan.
Good afternoon. Ho, ho, ho. It looks like some county employees are going to have an awfully Merry Christmas, but the taxpayer isn't going to be smiling. Now, if I recall correctly, this board, about 6 months ago, maybe plus or minus, had the opportunity to lower the property taxes of every taxpayer in Muskegon County. But instead of lowering the taxes of every taxpayer in Muskegon County, the board chose not to do that for whatever reason's entirely beyond me. We thought it was because the county needed the money and the budget was tight. However, we're finding out today, based on a proposal before you this afternoon, that the budget must not be all that tight because you've got an extra $700 to give to county employees. Now, something's not adding up here, because if your budget's really, really tight, you can't go ahead and give a property tax decrease to everybody in the county. But in the same vein, if your budget's just as tight, you're going ahead and giving $700 to each county employee, or at least a group of them. Now, what this leads the general public to believe is that we have a county government and representatives of supposedly us who are doing nothing more than taking our money and giving it to county employees. It's almost as if we have a county against the people, against the rest of us, because that's the way it's read that's the way the general public perceives this. That's the way the general public reads this, and it's wrong. But you also have the opportunity this afternoon to stop it by saying no. We can't afford to give $700 bonus to everybody. We already know that the health care costs are going to go nowhere but up, and I don't see how we can give $700 to anybody, even if you wanted to, even if they deserve it. The money's just not there. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Cregan. Is there another gentleman that would like to step to the podium, please? And give us your name for the record.
I thought it was my turn. You followed the card? I did.
Members of the board, I don't know any of you.
Sir, could I have your name for the
My
record?
name is Craig Walton, and I'm from Lincoln Township. I don't belong to any party, I guess. I'm one of the 99%. I'm getting involved in this meeting today, and I'm taking a lot closer look at politics because of what I and my family have had to go through since about 2006 when everything kind of just changed. My wife and I both have been hard workers and have made decent money most of our life. And after 2006, right now, we had to downsize our home to half the size. My wife is working a job right now making less than half of what she was 5 years ago. I'm working for less than half of what I was 5 years ago. We've had to be fiscally prudent, and I'd like to think that every one of you that ran for office ran because you wanted to do greater good and you wanted to serve a higher purpose, and I believe that, unless I've been proven different. But I'm paying attention now, and this move here, I don't know all the details, but I do know this. I was talking to some people and getting some information, and I hear there's things the county's going to have to take a look at, like possibly either upgrading or replacing their jail. Okay, I also know that the county has got, I heard someone say $100,000 in unfunded liabilities. when it comes to pensions. And I know in my own family, I've had to make a lot of hard cuts and choices to try and live within the means with the new economy that we live in right now. And I'm just asking you guys to, whatever reason you initially came to this thing, do what's best. I know sometimes when you have voting blocks that have a lot of influence, I'm a former Teamster myself, that it can be easy to kind of give a little special favor to special interest. And I got to tell you, from just being a citizen of this county, it looks like that's what we have here, and I'm just asking you guys, please, don't give in to that, because I know the reason you got in this office is to do good, Democrat or Republican, and I want you guys to do the greater good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Walton. Is there anybody else?
Yes. Thank you.
Name's Dan Mills, 49445. Anyway, I understand that counties made a lot of bad moves here in the recent past. I'm talking about the airport, I'm talking about Brookhaven, I'm talking about all kinds of stuff. I understand that we're on the hook for Dalton Township's failure to pay us coming up in January, huge expenses. And like my friend said, not 100,000, but I understand 100 million, which is kind of an anomaly. If you was to look at the counties surrounding us, like Ottawa County, Kent County, or any of the counties in the state, owing $100 million. I mean, if somebody wrote you a check right now, the county board, I'm talking to each one of you, wrote you a check for $100 million and gave it to you right now, so this is for your pension fund, you'd be broke. And you are planning on floating more bonds, $50 million for a jail expansion plan? You're planning on giving away money now for bonuses that wasn't in the contract? You're renegotiating the contract now to give more away? I'd like to know why. Why? Would you please tell me now?
Doing a very nice job.
Can anybody answer that? Well, let me tell you something then, and I'll say this with my own delight, glee, that we're here, and this isn't your county, it's our county, and we aren't going away. You are. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Yes.
Marcia Wilkes. This is strange to be at this position. I just wanted to say, after listening to these people, that I have a son who works for the county as well. He is not working full-time. He's working part-time. He's living off of approximately $600 a month, part-time working for you. For him to get $250 means I'm not feeding him for a few days. And to us, it is a very big deal. All employees in the county are not working full-time with full benefits and all kinds of extras. He has no benefits, and that's what he's making, and that's what he's living on. And he makes too much to apply for anything else. So for him to get a little bit extra is a very big deal.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Tom Perro. I live in the city of Muskegon. I've worked in private industry my whole life. We always receive bonuses every year. It was companies that made profits, or some companies would even pay in a bad year. A lot of the bonuses were based on goals and objectives. I would like to see the system, instead of just giving a cash handout, why not set goals for the different departments, maybe to cut costs or look for ways to save money to reward the workers, rather than just have it be a free handout that's expected every year. I don't know. Is that something you would take into consideration? Anybody? No? Give it away.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else? Move on to items for consideration. First item is WM 12/11-140. It's been moved and seconded to approve the accounts payable. Any questions? All in favor of the motion will say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. That motion carries. WM 12/11-141 from administration.
So moved. Second.
That's been moved and seconded. Questions or comments? All in favor of the motion say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. That motion carries. WM 12/11-142 from administration.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Mr. Snyder?
I don't have any questions, but I have a couple of comments. I believe that it's contemplated that as this committee really starts to function, that if it's going to act as a facilitator among these various groups for the purpose of port development and development of areas around the lake. In that connection, I think that we ought to take a little longer look at the bylaws, or they can come back. I'm a little hesitant to have the bylaws ability to amend in the committee, and I think that if anything, it ought to come back to this. Everything ought to come back to the board here as this moves forward. Since I really recognize that this committee is a facilitator, I think it's a great idea. I think the parties who are named who are participating are right on. So I'm very much in favor of it, and I assume that the track is going to be from this committee back to the Board of Public Works, back to the County Commission, in the event that there's to be any expenditures or any type of positive action taken.
I'm just curious about, it lists who we will be appointing, not by name, but what are we going to advertise to go out to for appointees? We already have, other than the city of Muskegon representative, is that going to be appointed from their board, or is
Each individual unit could appoint who they thought would be the best representative from there. And as far as the stakeholders are concerned, they have to agree to participate even though we've invited them.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair. Yes, I have a question regarding the officers. The original committee would be made up of 2 co-chairs, and they're both from Public Works, right? And then the second one is temporary, but it just said on a temporary basis, and as I read farther, it said for a 6-month period. Are we talking about this? Yes, that you.
Pell Grant Coordinator. The co-chairs, one would be the chairman of the Public Works Committee. The other one would be elected from the internal body. But what the bylaws anticipated was that perhaps that person, after they were there for 6 months, they might want to move on, or if they liked it, they could stay on, because this will be a different kind of role for some of the participants on that advisory committee. And so this was an opportunity to allow them to really grab a hold of that role and go forward.
Thank you. Sorry.
Anybody else? Thanks, Judy. All in favor of the motion say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Carries. WM 12/11-143 from administration.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Jager.
First, could we have a difference between an hourly and a part-time worker for clarification?
Also, Debbie, could you explain the breakdown of the different amounts and why it's being proposed today, please?
Okay. Debbie Gerneveld, Human Resources Director. An hourly employee is someone who works less than 25 hours a week, and they are not benefit eligible. And you mean the breakdown of the 3 amounts?
Could you tell me what a part-time is then?
Part-time in 2 of our bargaining units is 20 hours and over is half-time. And then there's a 24-hour-a-week person at a Brookhaven. But in all of the other bargaining units and non-bargaining, it's anything over 25 hours a week.
So the majority will be in the $350 range. That would be the majority of the departments. There isn't too many people in the $250 range.
Yes, there are a lot. Out at juvenile transition, Brookhaven, community mental health, we have a lot of hourly employees.
I got no 4 or 5 questions.
Okay.
Go ahead. You can put them in there because you're going to fit in here better now anyway. So.
You mean the breakdown of the 3 amounts?
Yes.
700 is for full-time, that's 40 hours a week. Anything less than 40 hours a week and down to the hourly range would be the 350, and then 250 would be for the hourly employees.
Okay, I just wanted the public to, those who had concerns about it, just so it could be clear that this is not something that is being held secret or some kind of different agenda.
No, and this was an amount that was negotiated with all the bargaining units. They all had amounts. They came to us with a lot more than that, and this is what we bargained down to.
Correct. Thank you.
Mr. Cross?
If I'm not mistaken, this is, I mean, I could be mistaken. This is in lieu of raises, correct? It's not a bonus, so to speak.
No, it's in lieu of a wage increase.
Yeah, so it's that 700, 300, whatever, that's spread out over the whole entire year.
Yes, that's their raise for the whole year.
Exactly.
And it's in lieu of a percentage increase.
Right.
And we did a one-time payment, because if we did a percentage wage increase, we would have to cover that again next year.
How much is the total of this thing going to cost the county?
I can answer. That number is just over $1 million. It's $1,031,000.
And now, it says according to this, it was budgeted. So was this planned in our 2013 budget then, is that?
This amount was planned in the budget and was covered with reduced expenditures in the insurance fund. And the way we were able to reduce expenditures was by offering the employees to sign up for a wellness program. And by them signing up for a wellness program, we are anticipating reduced expenditures in our claims. And the money that we will reduce expenditures will cover this increase for the employees.
Well, with that then, we're hoping that we're going to get that kind of reduction.
We feel very strongly that our projections are accurate.
But, so if it was in the budget to make this kind of cut, I mean, so did but they had to anticipate that it wasn't going to be in there. So they must have made cuts with either employees or programs for each department to do this, right?
This is from the insurance fund. This is not from the general fund. This is not from the departments. There is an insurance fund where money is kept to pay insurance claims and premiums. And this was from the insurance fund. And so this was separate from departments.
But we pay the insurance one, in a sense, by our amount of money we pay in premiums.
Right. And we reduced it by having a wellness program.
If they didn't sign up.
67% of our employees signed up for it.
Now, if it was budgeted, kind of in a sense, I guess, we knew about that in the 2000, when they made all their plans in each department, did they know about it when they figured their budget in for 2013?
No, this is an administration budget adjustment. This is not done by departments. This is a county-wide administration budget adjustment. Wages and insurance are administration. Departments do not budget for wages or insurance, pension. That is a across-the-board county administration budget adjustment.
Well, how can we be ensured that we're going to save the $1,031,000 to offset this?
We know that we will, based on the numbers that signed up for the wellness program and the other efforts we've done by going from Blue Cross Blue Shield to priority, and also with our prescription benefit plan that we offered in 2012, we have seen reduced expenditures in many areas.
But, you know, I thought I read something that said that the insurance ended up going up last year. We didn't save the money we thought we were going to save on our whole insurance plan as a county. In the end, it didn't save what we thought it was going to save.
We actually did better with the combination of prescription, insurance, and now with this wellness program.
But the
We
actual
reduced
insurance-
expenditures. We don't, with all due respect, we reduce expenditures. We very rarely save money. We reduce expenditures.
What's the difference?
Well, save money would imply that we have money to save. We need to reduce our expenditures so that we can operate.
Mr. Engel?
Yes, I'd just like to make a general comment if I could. Mr. Riley's taping this, so send this out to your folks. If you feel you
I will,
should-
thank you.
Certainly. If you feel it's important to threaten us, but we do the best we can for the county, helping our people the best we can, I'd like you to know my name's Marv, M-A-R-V-E, Engel. Thank you.
Mr. Plummer?
I just have a question, and it's excluding county commissioners, and Lisa was generous enough to give me the answer that that's always been the way. The judges don't receive the bonus, but the rest of the elected officials do behind it.
The past practice has always included elected officials that operate as department directors. And so we've written the motion as, and county commissioners and the judicial are referred to as county commissioners and judicial. We don't, and the electeds from our definition is the 8 elected officials that operate as heads of departments within county government.
And that's in all these designees? Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's why I couldn't understand what they all were. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Skolnick?
I just have a couple of questions. I don't know, you know what the total payroll is?
He can tell you that.
The total payroll approximately that would be covered by this one-time payment.
Heath Kaplan, Finance and Management Services Director. Now, you're talking about total payroll in regards to all funds. Total payroll is the general fund, or are you talking total payroll in regards to
covered by?
Because all funds, it's right around $55 million.
$55 million. Okay. Would that include community mental health?
That's everything.
Yes.
It's all
yes,
funds.
all funds.
And I'll confirm that, and I can get that to Bonnie. She can distribute that to you, but I'll confirm that.
And the payment is a one-time payment. It does not show up as there's, like, next year, it's not an increase in their salary.
What worries us from a cash flow perspective is, you know, again, like Debbie indicated, and of course the county administrator indicated, when you have a percentage of increase, that increases the base that I have to now push over into my 14 liability.
Right.
When I move into not only for salaries, for pension, it's just a domino for benefits.
So last year, we did the same thing, but it was $600.
For the full-time.
For the full-time. So the net increase this year over that is $100 per employee.
And it's proportionate from the other levels as well.
Okay, I don't have a problem with this at all. So,
Mr. Steiger? Well, I also don't have a problem with this for this reason. This is in lieu of a wage reopener, and the point of the operation and the payment, and I recognize it's not in every case, but we made that decision some time ago that when the contracts were going to be signed, that it would be in lieu of a wage reopener, or that there would be a wage reopener. We have to live with that decision that we made back then for the balance of those contracts. And I don't find this out of place.
I have one other question too. The other payments, like the 350 for part-time and 250 for hourly, is that an increase over, was that slightly more than last year?
Last year it was 600, 300, 200.
Okay, so those went up $50 per
We
employee.
just took the proportionate per each of them, and we made the increase accordingly once we had the full-time rate.
Any other comment? Mr. Mahoney?
I would just, if I can talk for very long, make a point that our employees have in fact come to the table and given up a great deal over the last 3 or 4 years, probably losing money in the process. This is an opportunity for us to thank them. In addition, it's not out of line at all. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, you've heard the discussion. We're voting on 143. Let's have a roll call.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Cross?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Jagger?
No.
Commissioner Longmire?
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Yes.
Commissioner Plummer?
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick?
Yes.
9 yes, 1 no.
Motion carries. WM 12/11-144.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions, comments? Seeing none.
Wait, just
Go ahead.
could you explain, first, I don't know who.
I can respond to it.
So that would fence the entire property?
We are requesting, we will have alternates in the bid to try different ways that it can be fenced. We do want to fence it so that there's egress, if needed, to open up to let people leave the park. I want to say this is just a request for proposal. We want to see the cost, and then we will bring it back to you for a decision, and we will bring back different options as to how we would fence the property based on cost.
The fence would match the fence approximately that's around the water resources.
That's our intention, yes.
So is that a chain link fence, or, because they have both?
We are looking at the wrought iron look,
Okay, perfect.
black.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a attractive fence.
Yes.
Any other questions? All in favor of said motion, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Old business? Any old business? Is there any new business?
I've just mentioned, I'm going to give accolades to Judy Kell and the rest of the Rotary Club. The Rotary Club, with a grant from Consumers Energy, has satisfied the $90,000 participation that is necessary for the completion of the park, Rotary Park, the addition. And that's good news. Again, so there's no county cost in the entire project, and they come away with more property on the lake preserved for the future, and at the same time, preservation of the property in Hiltz Landing, which is dedicated to the public as well.
Very good. Any other new business? Public comment on a new topic. Anybody in the audience like to address the board today on a new topic? Please come forward. Susie.
This is not a new topic. The Port Authority, John, you mentioned that you thought you might want to go back and discuss some of that. I was at the MAPS meetings, and at one of the meetings they did discuss that, and one of the big problems that they had with that was that it was the Port Authority Committee, and I see on here you have Port Advisory Committee, and that was really a big deal to them, and I'm really glad to see that you took that into consideration, because it was a real big problem with the people that were there about that, and that's really a good thing, because that authority, it really kind of gave them a bad note, and I'm really glad to see you did that.
Just, if I might, you may recall I was there as
I
well.
don't even remember if you were at that one or not.
Yeah,
And-
we had a discussion and.
Yeah, we did have a discussion.
Advisory,
Yeah.
this is an advisory committee, and we don't have the authority to create an authority. So understand that. And
Yeah.
authorities are functions that exist totally of themselves.
I was just glad to see you so quickly adapted to the people's requests there.
At our point, it is purely a facilitation event on the part of the
And
county.
I think that's what John tried to explain there, but just that one word, why that really turned the people off. So.
I want to mention one other thing, and that is that there has been a port association formed with those people who are operating docks on Muskegon Lake. And don't be misled, there is only one, as I understand it, only one deep water dock on Muskegon Lake. Everybody talks about all these other docks. Most of them are for lake-going vessels as opposed to the ocean-going vessels. And the only ocean-going vessel can use, is my understanding, can use West Michigan dock.
Okay.
So
I think the consumers dock.
Consumers is too.
Yeah, consumers is too.
Any other comment?
Nope, no.
Someone else?
Here. Go ahead.
Mr. Mel?
You.
Me? Okay. Thanks. Dan Mills, 19445. And I'd like to take this opportunity to express my opposition and actually citizens' opposition to your jail expansion plans one more time. Now, as Eric Gardner did not express in the newspaper, there was a very interesting Friday, a couple weeks ago, open line comments right around noontime. I was able to do it from where I work in another county. There's no good jobs in this county that I know of. And so anyway, I was able to log in and participate a little bit and see what the comments were. There were a number of them. I'm telling you what, lots and lots of public input on this jail expansion plan you hatched. And every single one of them was negative. Now, Mr. Carter was on there, presumably and reportedly, to answer questions. Not a single answer, actually, in fact. And this wasn't, like I said, reported accurately in the Chronicle, but I'm not surprised at that. The only person on that commenting online who was in favor of the jail expansion plan that you hatched was Mr. Gardner. But everybody I know is totally opposed to your undemocratic scheme. Thank you.
anybody else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Made. Everybody in favor of adjournment, say yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned, thank you.
It's good, huh? Yeah.